Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to Family Food Life. Once again, we are coming to you today from our itty-bitty city kitchen. In an earlier video, we taught you how to spatchcock a chicken. If you have not watched that yet, I would advise you to do so you can get to this stage of the spatchcocked roasted chicken recipe. So in the video, we showed you how to do one. I have two here, as we're going to be feeding a family of 6 later on, and we want to make sure we have enough wings and drumsticks and breasts for everyone to go around. So after you've spatchcocked the chicken, the next thing we want to do is we want to season the insides of the butterfly chicken with a healthy amount of pepper and salt. There's already a little salt on this one because I jumped the gun a minute ago, so I won't do quite as much on this side. Then you want some pepper, and again, you see on my right here, there is what we call in French cooking mise en place, which means we have all our ingredients already laid out and ready to go, which makes your process a lot easier. I recommend that anytime you're cooking to do some prep work and get your mise en place in place, which is what en place means, before you start, getting fully embroiled into your cooking process. So just getting a healthy amount of pepper on here. It's kind of hard to over season, but you don't want to overdo it, but give it a nice healthy coat. This is garlic powder. Another thing I'll mention is, usually when you're trying to get it to spread, don't be too close to your work here. You want it to actually be up high so that it sprinkles, somewhat evenly. See a lot of people, they get really in trying to control every little spot, and it ends up taking them forever to get a good spread of their spices over the chicken. All right, so we've got that nicely seasoned. Just gonna give a touch more pepper here. Okay, so I'm gonna move these out of the way for a second and bring in this tray here. I've already cut some lemon slices, so I like to roast my chicken on a bed of lemon slices, and I also like to add in some other aromatics. You can do all different types of aromatics. For today, I've got some fresh ginger here. So we're gonna add fresh ginger underneath on top of these lemons. Okay, these pieces are just to give a little support to the chicken. So you wanna get a decent amount spread over each one of these. And let's just get a piece over here to be symmetrical. And then we have fresh thyme sprigs, and I've seen some people pull it all up. I don't think that's a pain in the neck, and it's easier just to lay these out all over the base of where the chicken is going to lie. Okay. That's probably enough. And now we're going to bring the chickens back. Bring back our chickens, and we are going to flip these over so the breast side is up, and we're going to set them over this bed, and then we are going to push them down nice and flat, which is the real benefit of the spatchcock approach here. Okay, and I like to tuck my wings tips underneath the chicken so that they don't overcook. You can actually put them in here. Just try to get them covered up so that they are not directly exposed to the heat. Okay, I'm going to do this one as well. Okay. And you have those nice aromatics and the lemon sitting underneath, which will add flavor. It also gives a little more airflow beneath the chickens as they're cooking. And in the next video, we're going to show you how we're going to treat the top side or the breast side of the chicken before we put it in the oven. So we will be right back with that portion of the video. Hello again, and welcome back to our itty-bitty city kitchen. Continuing on to the next steps in our roasted spatchcock chicken recipe. If you are tuning in late, you need to go back and see what we did to spatchcock and prep the chickens earlier. For this stage of the process, we'll be going over the butter paste that we will be covering the chicken with before we go into the oven. If you haven't already, preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit. You can do that on bake, or you could do that on convection roast if you have that option. It's up to you. As usual, we have our mise en place ready to go here. We're going to actually do 2 chickens because I have a decent sized family dinner that I'm getting ready for here after our football game today. So I've got a full stick of butter. We're going to do 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm going to be a little more gut feel on the rest of these ingredients, but I'll explain to them what they are as we go. So first we have a full stick of softened butter. Put all that in there. Waste not, want not. Okay. We're going to do about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I will measure this just so you don't want to get too much butter and oil, otherwise it gets a little greasy. Little side tip here, these are actually old tequila bottles. They make really good olive oil containers. And sometimes I'll cork them with a champagne cork, or this is a Blanton's Bourbon Kentucky Derby edition bottle that unfortunately the bourbon is gone, but we still have the lid. Next, we're going to be using some fresh chervil, which I actually just literally picked out of my city herb garden here. We have a little hydroponics garden, and it's awesome to have fresh herbs when you live in a big city right at your fingertips. So it's about 2 tablespoons worth. So we're going to add that in to our butter and oil. This is about 4 cloves of minced garlic, which we're going to add in. I took the zest of 1 lemon from this lemon here, so we're going to put this lemon zest in here. Get stuck. Okay. The lemon zest, or the juice of the lemons themselves. Try not to get the pits in like I just did. See if I can get that guy out of there. Come on. Come on. Thank you. Okay. Probably should do that this way. Okay. Nice and lemony. And if you remember from the earlier video, we also have lemons underneath our chickens, sliced lemons that are going to also add some nice lemony flavor. Grab a towel here. And lastly, just a good healthy pinch of salt and some pepper. Okay, move these out of the way. And then we're going to just take a fork and stir that up nice. Just enough so that that lemon juice really gets incorporated into the oil and the butter, and it's got a nice liquidy base that it's going to spread nicely over the top of the chicken. Put this out of the way as well, and we'll bring back our 2 spatchcock chickens. Again, if you haven't watched that video, please go back and do so to see how we got to this point. And then we're just going to take this mixture and generously spread it over the top of these chickens. Try to get into the nooks and the crannies. If you have some like skin like this up, it's a good idea to kind of get underneath into the skin. Really gets that flavor in there good. Some people use injection needles or whatever you call them. I don't really get involved with that for something like this, although I would do that if I was in my country home using my smoker, cooking up something like, ribs or some kind of a large pork roast or whatever I was doing. But for here, if it's readily available, take advantage and get some under the skins, but I'm not overly concerned about, really going that crazy. So like here's a good spot to get underneath. So generously apply it though. Try to get really all parts of the skin covered, because that will definitely help with the crispiness of it. And then the last thing you want to do here, as I mentioned earlier, is you want to take your favorite vegetables that you like to roast, roast cauliflower or roast peppers, or just cut up some onions, whatever it is that you like. Brussels sprouts works real well. French cut green beans, whatever floats your boat. And I would put those all around the chicken, and then I would roast that alongside the chicken to kind of round out the entire meal. You could even do some roast potatoes, whatever you feel like. I'll be honest, I'm going to go look in my crisper after this to figure out the rest of my game plan. But I know I have a ton of cool vegetables in there, and I'm going to see what excites me. So that is the entire prep process, though, for the spatchcock roasted chicken. And we will come back later on to show you what the finished product looks like. You're going to cook this again at 425 in your oven, probably 45 minutes to an hour. But to be safe, you want to get an instant read thermometer and make sure you're at a solid 160 degrees Fahrenheit to make sure it's cooked all the way through. So that is the prep process completed for our spatchcock chicken, and we'll be back in a little bit to show you the finished product. Okay, hope you enjoy your meal. Thank you. Okay, folks, here we go. Here we have our spatchcock chicken. 2 of them. You can see they're nice and brown on the outside, and the skin has gotten nice and crispy. I'm going to take my instant read thermometer here and just do a quick check, make sure they're fully cooked. So we're just going to go into the thickest part of the breast here, and I'm looking at 164 and 162, so just about right. You really definitely want to be at 160 or higher. You don't want to go too much higher than that, otherwise the breast is going to dry out. I actually did take out the vegetables sooner because they were starting to overcook a little bit. So I ended up doing asparagus and carrots and mushrooms, and they did cook at a little quicker rate than the chicken. So keep an eye on that, and pull them out sooner if need be. But essentially, that's going to be our dinner tonight, and I've got a large pot of white rice going as well. And maybe in a few we'll give you a final look at the plated product.